So let's get started on our dessert first. We're going to be doing it in the slow cooker. My slow cooker here is I've had this for several years, and it's a digital one. It is a Cuisinart. I'm trying to think. I think it's 6 quart, and it's just got different. People have asked me the difference between a slow cooker and a crock pot. This is digital. You can saute in it. You know, brown and saute your meat and stuff or vegetables. You can steam in it, and of course you can slow cook in it. And the good thing about these right here is that, you know, the old crock pots, they had the little knob on, and I still have one, and it's off, and it was either high, low, and then maybe warm. I don't even think it had a warm on it, did it? But it was high, low, I think, and off was all that you had, the options on it. This one right here, you punch in if you want to cook something for 8 hours. You put it on the timer, 8 hours. 8 hours, it'll shut off cooking, but it'll go to warm set, and it'll keep your food warm, you know, until you get home from work or church or, you know, just whatever. So I do prefer a slow cooker over just a regular crock pot because of that. But I used a regular crock pot for many, many, many years before they come out with something like this. All you got to do is, this is such a good dessert, especially when it's so hot, and you know, you just want to throw something together so you'll have something quick and easy and not turn that oven on at all. We're going to take a 20-ounce can of cherry pie filling. Now you can use any kind of pie filling that you want. And I'm fixing to put some crushed pineapple in here. And if you don't like pineapple, you can put 2 things of cherry pie filling, or cherry pie filling and a blueberry or something like that to replace the pineapple. So I just put it in the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of spread it out on the bottom. Then I've got a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple with the juice, and I'm going to pour it in there too. And I'm just going to spread it in here. Now this is a very vintage recipe. It's just a dump cake recipe. People have done this recipe for years in just the oven because it was always just so easy to throw together when you need a quick dessert. So we got that spread out. Now all we have to do is sprinkle our cake mix. It's just a yellow cake mix. You can use whatever. You can even use, I've done this with a fudge cake mix that's really, really good too. I'd put 2 cans of the cherry pie filling and then use a fudge cake mix. It's really good. So we're just going to dump the cake mix over. The heat has been so intense. In fact, yesterday and today was supposed to be the hottest days of July. Today is supposed to get to 100, which means the heat index will be about 113, they said. So when it gets to that point, it's very dangerous. And you need to be, I feel so sorry for the ones that have to work out in it. I don't know. It's just so dangerous. So please take care of yourself. So you pour that whole cake mix over that. Then I've got a half a cup of melted butter. We're just going to pour that on top of the cake mix. But don't stir it. Don't stir this up. Just leave it just like it is. And all we're going to do is put the lid on it. You can put this on high for 2 hours or put it on low for about 4 hours. Now, all crock pots and slow cookers cook differently. So what I'll do is I'm going to put this on high for an hour and a half. And then I'm going to check it. And what I'll do, the middle needs to be, you know, it's going to be kind of moist. but take a toothpick and go around, you know, most of it to see if it's done at an hour and a half. If it's not done, I'll put another 30 minutes on it and let it continue to cook. Because like I said, they're all different. It's been a while since I've made a dessert in the slow cooker, so I can't remember if it took the full 2 hours or not. But this is going to be good. Without turning the oven on, we're going to have us a really nice dump cake for dessert. So now we're going to get started on our main dish. Let's talk about the ingredients for this Instant Pot Monterey spaghetti. You're going to need about 4 cups of loosely packed spinach. If you use a frozen spinach, it just really doesn't turn out as well. So this recipe always calls for fresh spinach, and it's just 4 cups of loosely packed spinach. You got 8 ounces of spaghetti. This is optional, but I do like to put dried tomatoes into a lot of my dishes. This is dried tomatoes that I've had in the pantry for a while, and if you do your own dried tomatoes from your garden, your own sun-ripened dried tomatoes, these are just put in olive oil. In fact, when I get these, I am going to dry some tomatoes, and I think I'm going to do my little cherry tomatoes. I'm going to dry them in the dehydrator, and I'm going to pack them in some olive oil and put them in the refrigerator. But anyways, these are just dried tomatoes, and I am going to kind of cut them up a little bit. If you don't want to use them, you can replace it with mushrooms, bell peppers, anything like that. But I will be slicing these up a little bit before I put them in the Instant Pot with the other ingredients. You're going to need 2 cups of either cooked chicken or turkey. You can use an already cooked rotisserie chicken. I love to buy several rotisserie chickens if I'm in, you know, somewhere that has them. And I like to debone them, keep the bones to keep for chicken stock or whatever. And then I like to just kind of bag them up in portion sizes. And I've got, you know, already chicken made, you know, for any kind of slow cooker or Instant Pot or just any kind of recipe. So you can either cook your own chicken. Maybe you've got chicken or turkey left over. What I've got is I had a quart of my canned turkey that I'd done a couple years ago. And in fact, this is my last jar, y'all, so I've got to get busy canning up either some more chicken or turkey. But there's 2 cups of cooked chicken. Either way, you can do a chicken breast, cook it up, or whatever. But they need to be cooked. I got 2 cups of the broth out of my jar, but you need 2 cups of chicken broth. I got a cup of sour cream. Got a little bit of Italian seasoning. I've got garlic powder, onion powder, some peppers, salt, Parmesan cheese, and some Monterey Jack cheese. I will be shredding this up and putting it on later after it cooks, and putting the Parmesan on later too. So this is our ingredients. When you see this, if there's something you want to add to it, like I said, bell peppers or mushrooms or something like that, feel free to do that. You can always add a little bit, your own touch to it. So let's get this thrown in the Instant Pot and get it going. Okay, let's get our stuff inside the Instant Pot. This is, I know there's different probably brands and stuff. This is the original Instant Pot. I bought it several years ago off of Amazon. I had some points built up, and I had never owned anything like this. I mean, if I was going to pressure cook something, I would just pressure cook it in my little pressure cooker. You remember those little pressure cookers your grandma and your mama would put beans or a tough piece of meat or just anything in it and cook in it. Well, this is electric, and it does a really good job of cooking, y'all. I watched several people on different channels using one, and I just thought, never really knew if I'd use it. And but I'm going to tell you, it's probably one of the best investments that I probably have purchased, one of them, for my kitchen. I can take a dozen fresh eggs and make deviled eggs and stuff really quick, because this does an excellent job with fresh eggs. The peeling comes right off, and it, you don't have to mess with being on the stove and having to mess with all that. I've done that all my life, but this is just an easy way of doing fresh eggs when you want deviled eggs or just any kind of a boiled egg. I can put a frozen roast in here, and any kind of frozen meat, a chicken, whatever, and put this thing on manual, and within 50 to 60 minutes I've got my meal is cooked, whether it's frozen or not. You can put a tough piece of meat in here, and I'm telling you, it'll be falling apart by the time you get it cooked. And you don't have to mess with it. You don't have to put it in the oven. It's just a game changer for me. So there's so many things you can do in this thing too. You can make soups, stews, pot roast. Like I said, you can even make bread in these things. You can make cakes in them. Sky's the limit. So if you ever have just really thought, well, I don't really know if I want an Instant Pot, but I was the same way. And when I did purchase it, I was glad I did. So let's go on with our recipe. I'm just going to spray that a little bit with some olive oil. And to our chicken broth or turkey broth, whichever you're using, you're going to add that cup of sour cream to it. Now, I know some of y'all are probably going to ask me if you can do this in a slow cooker, or yes, you can. You'd have to do it. You still need to make sure that your the chicken is cooked, and put it on low for about 8 hours. So I've got my sour cream in there with my chicken broth. Let's see. Need to get my teaspoon. I need a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to add it to this mixture. If you'd rather put fresh garlic, you can do that. And about a teaspoon. It's already smelling good. And a teaspoon of onion powder. My onion powder is really, really good onion powder. I buy it in bulk. I think it's Frontier brand. And so I tend not to use as much as what the recipe calls for, because it is some stout onion powder. But the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And let's see, I'm going to need a little bit of, I've got some salt right here though. I'm going to put about half a teaspoon of salt. Then I've got my pepper here. I need a half a teaspoon of pepper. And once you make these recipes and you're thinking, that's really good, but maybe I would add a little bit more pepper, or a little less salt, or a little more garlic, the next time just to add a little bit more of this or that to it. And that just stuck to my arm. I'm going to add, y'all, one of my favorite, I'm not big on canned meat. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth on that. I'm not. But one of the things that I do love is canned chicken or canned turkey with the broth. I'm telling you, it has come in so handy, so handy. And to me, it just has a good taste to it. A lot of that meat and stuff I don't care for. So I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And this is just my own homemade mixture of Italian seasoning. It's rosemary, thyme, oregano, basil. And sometimes you can just taste it and tell. Tastes pretty good. And this is what's going to go in the bottom. So you'll pour that in first and make sure I've got everything. My garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper. Yes. So the broth and everything that I put in it's going to go in the bottom of my Instant Pot. My cheese will come later. And this is where you're going to take your spaghetti. And I always break mine. You need to break it in half. Just like that. And I'm going to place it on top of this broth. I'm going to do this hand this way. You're going to crisscross it. Then I'm going to take this side and I'm going to go this way with it. So you're just going to crisscross it just like that. And then I'm just going to kind of push it down into that mixture. To my broth mixture. Just like that. So you just want to make sure it's down in there real good. But don't stir it. Don't do this and stir it. Just kind of pat it down. I'm going to take my dried tomatoes. Like I said, this is not something that you have to put in here. This is just optional. But if you're going to put mushrooms or bell peppers in it, this is when you would do that. If you've never cooked with dried tomatoes, it just gives it a really different, really good taste. I believe that, and y'all can tell me different if you cook a lot of Italian food. I think they may use dried tomatoes in some of their recipes. I know they use tomatoes, but dried tomatoes, and you can kind of just do this. You don't want a whole lot in your recipe, just a little. Like I said, it's put up in olive oil, so now that I've got that cut out, I need to wipe my hands off. And this usually goes together a lot faster. Of course, when I'm showing you this stuff, I got a piece of spaghetti that didn't get in there. Now, what you want to do is you're going to take your spinach. You're going to lay that on top, just like this. And that does look like a lot of spinach, but you know it's going to cook down. Just like that. Just kind of press it down a little bit. Now we're going to take our 2 cups of cooked chicken. Rotisserie chicken comes in really handy for stuff like this. You know, I've worked so many years and gone from home for so many years that when I would come in, there's so many times that I was so grateful to have any kind of canned up chicken or turkey or in the freezer already done, because I could throw together so much. Okay, don't stir it. Whatever you do, don't stir it. So what we're going to do now is we're not going to put our cheese on there yet. We're going to put our lid on here. Okay, I'm going to set this on manual. I'm going to bring it down to 5 minutes. And when it gets hot enough and the pressure gets where it needs to be, it'll start counting down 5 minutes. And when the 5 minutes is up, the beeper will go off, and then you're going to let it just sit for about 5-6 minutes, and then you're going to come back and you're going to take the pressure off of it. So it doesn't take very long. So you got a quick meal without turning the oven or the stove on. Okay, everything's cooked. It's been on low for about 12 minutes. I usually don't go over 6, but it's okay. I got busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and just, you can tell the steam's, it's almost depressurized itself already. But, so we'll open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, there it is. Cooked up. Needs to be stirred up a little bit. The noodles look really good and cooked. Sometimes you'll see that your noodles may have stuck together, just kind of separate them a little bit, but they're cooked. Now what I'm going to do to that is I'm going to add 1/4 cup of parmesan and about a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. You can really put as much cheese as you like. I'm just going to kind of toss that around. I think this is a meal that kids would really like too, because it's got all that cheese in it. It's a good way to get them to maybe to eat some spinach. So, 5 minutes of cooking, and usually just 5 or 6 minutes to let the pressure, just let it sit there and depressurize just a little bit. You got a meal, and you didn't have to heat the house up. You can go ahead and sprinkle a little more cheese on top, just like this. And there is your Instapot Monterey chicken. Put you a salad with it, with maybe some crusty bread. It's gonna be delicious. Anyways, let's plate this up some and we'll try it. It's been a while since I made it. So you want to try it?
Well, I want to try it.
Now, I did turn the stove on and made him a couple pieces of crusty bread. So, I did do that.
Well, you know how I am about bread nowadays.
I know. But anyways, this whole meal was cooked without turning the oven or stove on, except for the little crusty bread. I even have a cake over there in a slow cooker for dessert after a while.
Cake and a slow cooker.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed it ain't heated up like you've been cooking.
But you could smell it when you come in the door, didn't you?
Yeah, I come in from my mother's. I went and cooked her breakfast this morning. Stayed with her to about noon. I come in and it smells wonderful in the house.
This is Instapot Monterey chicken.
Chicken Monterey?
Just found stuff that I had,
That is hot.
that I had in the house. And it's kind of light, too. It's not a really heavy dish either. So, a little salad with it would be a full meal.
Got spinach in it.
Got spinach, I put a little bit of dried tomatoes in it.
Dried tomatoes and chicken.
Actually that might be my canned turkey. I couldn't remember if it was my chicken or turkey because I forgot to write it on the lid. Of course, I know looking at it what it is, but it was my last jar too. I hate that, but I'm going to have to can up some more.
Well, it's absolutely delicious as usual.
I thought, I got to make him a little bit of crusty bread. I had some French bread in the refrigerator that need to be used, and so I did do that. Of course, you can do it in your little toaster or something like that too if you didn't want to turn your stove on at all. So I kind of cheated and done that, but it didn't take but a couple
It's
of minutes.
absolutely delicious.
It is good.
My deal on bread is I don't eat as much bread as I used to. But when I do eat a little bread, I like it crusty.
You like it crusty and toasty, don't you?
I love her homemade bread, buttered and crusted in a skillet.
In a skillet, I mean, you can put it in a toaster, but it just don't have that same.
Just not the same, is it?
It's just not the same than when you put it in an iron skillet and toast it.
But I love good. I've been a bread eater all my life, and I've ate a lot of bread, but I just don't eat as much as I used to.
Anyways, so I hope y'all try this recipe, and I'll be doing more Instant Pot recipes and slow cooker recipes because I've been having people really interested in them. And like I said, I've also got the cake in the slow cooker, so we'll be trying that as soon as it gets done. But you've seen it only took less than 10 minutes to get this cooked. Probably total of putting it together. Of course,
A meal like that in 10 minutes?
Well, I took my time because, I'm videoing it. But if I was just in here whipping it up without, having to video it, it would take probably 10 minutes from start to finish.
I'm telling you.
I really like my Instant Pot.
So you could freeze this and thaw it out for another meal, huh?
For another meal. And we've had to do that before because it's just me and him. And, I do some cooking for two, but this one right here, I could probably scale it down to cooking for two. But anyways, this will get 8, I promise you. So we'll be back in a little bit and we'll taste that cake out of slow cooker. I'm getting me a little bit.
That's tasty. This was cooked in a skillet, this bread was, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I can tell.
Okay, our dump cake is done. It is very moist, so you can see some of it will stick to the toothpick because it's so moist, but it is done. Now, the one thing you'll find out is that it's not going to get brown on top. But it is very moist, and this would be very good with some ice cream. Now, I ended up having to cook this on high for 3 hours instead of 2. But like I said, it doesn't get brown on top, but it's very, very good, very moist. The only thing I might have done different was go ahead and drain the pineapples. Had a little bit too much juice in it. But you can see it's not runny or anything, but it's very, very good. And there's so many of these different dump cake recipes for your slow cooker that you use, like a spice cake mix with apple pie filling and just all kinds of different ones. This is just one of them that I do enjoy, but it's really, really good. Well, I hope y'all enjoy these recipes. There's so many good recipes out there for slow cookers and Instant Pot. So if you're in a heat wave like we are, you're going to really use that slow cooker and that Instant Pot quite a bit. So I hope y'all enjoyed these recipes, and I hope y'all try them. Y'all stay cool, and we'll see y'all in a few days.